here on Vani Research Station. We already got a little bit of proxying going on by our player in the top of the map. He is the yellow Protoss, Zeal.
And his opponent, as yet unawares about the proxy 1 gate, it is Team Ascension's orange Protoss player, Rengen.
Woo,
Woo, yay!
go Rengen.
And both these players newcomers to ASL, but giving us some hyped up action right from the get-go, with Zeal going for that proxy 1 gate. Do you think he's going to skip the Zealot and go straight for Stalkers from it, or is he going to move in with his Zealot to try and start
I think you kind of got to go the Zealot. You really have to get that early pressure on and maybe stop them. Well, he's going to take 2 gas here, Rengen is, but often getting the first Zealot in kind of makes them cut off gas because they're too exposed. So any delaying of the mine just means that yours is going to come so much faster.
Yeah, it makes it very, very difficult if you're if you just position that Zealot by one of the gases. Having to pull the probes on and off it and on and off it is just not realistic. But interestingly, Rengen is actually going double gas, so whatever he had planned is going to be severely disrupted by this aggression coming out. He does now get his probe into Zeal's base, so he's going to have a good scout around and see there's no buildings here. There should be buildings here. I'm sure you need a gateway to build a cyber core.
First Zealot will now reveal itself, so it's going to be 2 Zealots in, then expect the Stalker will start shortly, as soon as cyber core is done, which it is now.
And so far that's 1 kill down, 1 drone, 2 drones down to the Zealot, or probes, and a lot of lost mining time as well. Everything's had to come off gas for Rengen. Right. He's just relying on actually the minerals. That's a nice surround of those Zealots. Actually, they're not getting away. Okay, yes they are. He lets them out. He obviously doesn't want to trade off too many probes for this, because of course Zeal actually hasn't committed too heavily to probes of his own, or like cutting probes of his own. It's only a proxy 1 gate. He's actually got a probe lead right now. His tech's not even that far behind, so it's looking pretty good for him. He has to keep the Stalker alive, because otherwise the Mothership Core just cleans up the Zealots eventually.
Yeah, well, for sure. And the Mothership is kind of hanging back for the moment.
Yeah, he has to keep that alive. Really doesn't want to lose its Stalker.
Like the ideal, obviously, is you have to hold this off, but eventually hold it off to the point that a photon overcharge clears everything for like a minute, and then you can really make a counter push, or else it's just going to keep happening.
Yeah, getting that minute with the photon overcharge to be able to tech up. But so far, both Zealots from Rengen go down, which leaves Zeal with a couple Stalkers and a few Zealots to actually keep chasing away, get those swipes on. The Mothership Core just escapes, but there's no reinforcing Stalker coming in. But 1 Stalker gets taken out by Zeal, leaving him with a bit of an advantage. And he actually might be able to pick off his Mothership Core a few more hits, but
there we go. So he does survive it long enough to get that off.
Yes.
And the Mothership Core still lives for now.
2 more hits on that. But the shield starts to regen now. And yeah, Rengen's bought himself enough time to get a 2nd gate down, finish up his warp gate. Of course, Zeal has delayed his warp gate quite significantly.
And now it's just straight up a 4 gate.
Oh no, it's already done actually. Yeah,
it's just a straight up 4 gate from this point, and there's no way that he's going to be able to stop him with like 1 gateway.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. He has 2 more being added on, but warp gate only just finishing now. Photon overcharge is going to expire fairly soon, and all these worker pools, Rengen extends a little far, but actually doesn't lose any probes for it. Photon overcharge is gone now though, and Zeal has so many Stalkers here. 7 Stalkers to 2. I don't see how Rengen holds this.
Indeed, especially with the Zealot as well. And GG is gone. So was a quick one.
Here we find ourselves game number 2, or map number 2 I guess, on Echo. In this first series of the night, down here in the bottom right hand corner, falling to a proxy last game. But he won't be so unlucky this game. It is Team Ascension's orange Protoss player, Rengen.
And his opponent up here on the top left-hand side, as you mentioned, not proxying this time around. It is our yellow aggressive Protoss cheesy player, or at least in that first game he was. It is from Team Brawl, I guess this is. And their logo is like a toucan or some goddamn thing. So they're sponsored by Fruit Loops or something. It is Zeal.
Yes, indeed it is. And so far, fairly similar builds coming out from both players. Once again, actually, Rengen going very heavy into the gas, though. Starting out with 3 in each, whereas Zeal just has the more commonplace 2 in each. He'll probably put the third one in sometime around the Cybernetics core finishing, depending on what he wants to do. But as a resident Protoss expert, Enda, what do you think this very heavy gas commitment by Rengen means?
You can obviously take it in a few directions. Most likely it tends to be Stargate, particularly if he's going to proxy it, and it looks like he's almost, well, he's scouting around just looking for cheese, but that probe, if it does go further out, could do that. If it's at home, then it's usually more likely to be like a Twilight Council or something, but it is flexible. It's gas heavy, but it is flexible.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll see what his texture is. It doesn't look like there's going to be any proxies.
So there's the Twilight, So usually this is the case. If it's at home, it'll be more likely to be this. So whether he'll continue to like DT or go to Blink, I think is maybe more likely.
Yeah, but both players have basically identical Twilight timings and exactly the same workers. So what does Rengen plan with the extra gas? Which, I mean, I think Blink is usually a bit more gas heavy than Dark Templar, just because you get more Stalkers, and Stalkers are pretty...
Yeah, for sure.
Extensive.
Inlets.
Dark Shrine, though.
Yeah, okay, one's doing Blink, one's doing Dark Shrine, so this is where we will deviate.
I feel like this is pretty good for Rengen. Unless Zeal throws down some kind of detection pretty soon, he's just not going to have an answer to DTs. That's what DTs do. If you don't have detection, you die. You literally just lose the game right up then and there.
Zeal has a Mothership Core, though, coming in potentially for the Scout here. Depends how brave he is. Gets by the Stalkers. He will be able to see that. The recall out after seeing the Dark Shrine is there.
Yeah, and immediately the Robo starts up back at home for him. So he will be prepared for these DTs. And this really shifts the kind of paradigm very much in Zeal's favor. He should be 100% ready for the DTs, while still really not changing his blink pressure that much. He maybe will leave 1 or 2 more Stalkers at home, but other than that, he's basically unimpeded.
Yeah, no, Rengen, interestingly enough, he didn't have like a proxy pylon down in the first place, and he's just gone for the expansion, possibly as a result of having that detected, or he may have had this as his plan anyway, like defensive DTs somehow. But he is expanding, so if he can hold that against the Blink Stalker attack that will come, then it's pretty good. And one thing that's fairly decent against Blink Stalkers is Archons. They're just pretty tanky.
Yeah. Pretty short range, though, so kind of... although they're about the same speed as Stalkers.
Yeah, it's more your tank, and then you've got other things.
Yeah, your tank, you've got the other things, and obviously you're just keeping them away from your base where they really want to be doing the damage. Rengen also, of course, does have that transition already up and running. The Immortals coming out, basically the perfect answer to the Blink Stalkers. They are not only tanky, but also just deal so much damage to Blink Stalkers. But right now, Zeal has a lot of Blink Stalkers. The force field is good. It looks like Zeal is quite able to get the Blink up onto the high ground.
Surprised he's not overcharging low, given how committed those Stalkers were.
Yeah, a little bit surprised. It looks like he's going in now to do just that. But already the Nexus is almost out of shields. But Zeal looking to move up again. And this time, the force field slightly whiffed. The Stalkers blink up onto the whole army. The Immortals focus down in just a few volleys. And the rest of the army is going to be following suit. And now the Folk Novitas has to be using the main as well, which does trap Zeal Stalkers up here for a little while.
He's a little trapped,
Yeah. He's just going to tank the Folk Novitas and walk back out. Blink goes down. And
force field attempts, but he blinks out, obviously. Detection is now out there, too, so there's not like high ground vision or anything for these Stalkers. They can really only just straight up go up the ramps.
Mm-hmm.
And going back in that photon overcharge. Of course, they're not going to die as they can blink out.
Yeah, photon overcharge has now timed out as well, but I feel like Zeal's lost a fair amount of his stalkers, or at least potential stalkers.
There's a sneaky DT that's kind of waiting at this base, and now he's going to go in and get the probes.
Yeah, Zeal does have an observer back at home, but he's only got a couple sentries, and the photon overcharge though does the job, I guess, and it's going to kind of guarantee the DT kill. Yeah, there we go.
Blink in the meantime has been put on the other side. Nice actual force field there. It makes it harder to blink out of there as a group.
Yeah.
It's just kind of annoying, but it kind of works. But yeah, the DT picking up 3 kills on that. Fairly good use of it, I think.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, it's not like the best DT, but I don't know. Is 3 kills worth the DT? It's not the biggest man. It's not too early game either, but either way, right now...
It's not that early, but I still think it's alright.
Okay. Yeah, Zeal pokes in, trades a bit of shields for, I think, a probe. Rengen's now pushing down the map. He's got his 2 immortals up. This is a great kind of number to have against Blink Stalkers. They can't really focus it down without taking a ton of damage from the other immortals. And Zeal hasn't really been able to preserve his Blink Stalkers.
Rengen is making a Twilight Council.
That's a misclick.
Yeah, it's got to be something.
I mean, unless he's going to go for Blink and Charge.
At once.
Same time. Shock, Zealot.
Let's see if he realizes that. I don't know. I wonder what he thinks he's built. Maybe a robotics bay.
Yeah, he's cancelled it now. Okay. I guess a Forge. F quite close to C if you hit B instead of B. I don't know.
Yeah, and he photon overcharged there on the hallucinated Oracle, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but I think it's stable enough. He's not going to need it for a little bit anyway, but it does drain that energy.
It's cool. I always kind of like hallucinating oracles rather than phoenixes because they do force that bit more of a response. If you see one phoenix floating past, you're like, I've got a... I'm being scouted. If you see one oracle floating past, you think, oracles. But, the Colossus transition now coming up for Zeal. Rengen just kind of sticking on that immortal tech for a little while. And... how do you think that matches him up? Because until the Colossus count gets really, really high, those Immortals are going to deal great with it. Blink Stalkers will be able to reposition and jump on those Colossi, so they won't be that valuable until Zeal's amassed like a really solid number.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's as long as these the Immortals can actually get close at all, then they definitely win. It is not until you get to big numbers. And if Rengen is able to do kind of Warp Prism Micro to get those into the back line of the Colossus, then they're absolutely devastating. Nice blink in here again, though, going after some probes. Taking several out. Actually, a lot out.
Oof.
If the sacrifice is, most of this force, if not all of it, but he's trying to get the Mothership Core there too. Does.
Yeah, so, that's pretty
fairly
good.
Expensive. Yeah, but
I mean,
good.
It was expensive.
Down to 37 probes.
It was expensive for sure, but the army supply is actually still basically equal. Zeal, in fact, with this warping, still has an advantage. So where normally I'd be really, really worried if a player did that for the counterattack, for Rengen to kind of march across the map and just kill him, Zeal actually has a really solid army. It's gone much more Zealot heavy, making these Immortals that Rengen has, the kind of power units in his army, much less useful. 1 or 2 Colossi do add something to the fight, and he's even got Zeal still 2 Immortals to actually deal with Rengen's Stalkers. So actually, Rengen's force is not looking that good against what Zeal actually is able to bring to the table here.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, and it's the more time that goes by, I think the more it's going to swing in that direction, especially now that he has not only taken the economic lead in terms of probes, but he's got that third Nexus half done as well. Either that has to go down immediately or he has to attack immediately, or else he'll just get further and further back. And he will go for this third.
I think he'll be able to actually focus it down, just because the 3 Immortals do so much damage, but he wants to try and take the fight here. He has got a bit of a high ground advantage, but the Time Warp goes down, stopping him kiting away from those Zealots, and the Colossi just staying safe in the back, dealing their damage. The Immortals go down. Oh man, the Immortals in the front line against those Zealots is not what they want to be. GG. Zeal is able to take the 2-0 to move on to the winners match.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.